if you just go out of your way to like introduce yourself to someone and be personable, you literally never know what opportunity that will open.
Welcome, everybody, to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 68.
Today's guest is Branndon Center.
Branndon is a homie. He's an excellent drummer. He's an excellent videographer, and he's a fantastic human being. And I've wanted to have him on the show for quite a while, and it was finally the stars aligned, and we made it happen.
Yeah, it was super great getting to meet Branndon and learn his journey growing up in Nashville and getting the gig at Meinl. He is the man behind the camera, so to speak, the lead videographer and editor behind basically all of the incredible content that you're probably well familiar with on the Meinl YouTube and social channels. This was a very wide-ranging conversation. We dive deep into the future of music and the AI era, the globalization of drum education, his extensive experience in drum corps, and transitioning into a modern drum set player. Since early 2020, Branndon has been a full-time member of the Nashville metal group Yugen. Definitely go check them out. So this is a great conversation with Branndon, and we hope you enjoy episode 68 of the Nashville Drummers Podcast.
Imad Coulibaly.
Oh,
tomorrow.
cool.
Yeah, he's been here once before, but he's coming back and doing something different this time. So.
Nice.
Cool dude, sweet dude.
I need to get together with that guy. I mean, I've been connected to him forever.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be here tomorrow. Just hit him up.
I'll text him. I think I still have his number. I have it.
Yeah.
We had a little text back and forth a while ago, but I don't think I saved his number. But we were talking for a while. But I have a terrible habit of talking to people and going, yeah, I'll like, I know what this number is. And then 6 months later, I'm like, I haven't said it. Like, what is this number? Where is this person?
It's far down the list and you have no idea who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It gets me in trouble pretpretty regularly.
How do drums sound in here? They sound good?
They do.
Yeah.
This is a cool room.
Drums sound really good in here. Yeah, I've recorded a bunch in here. It's got the soundproofing, you know?
Yeah. That's sweet.
Every time I say this, I'm like, I desperately wish I could build something like this in my backyard.
Dude.
You're working on it slowly. I mean,
yeah,
space inside first.
At least a space to do to do the thing, but to have it outside the house would be Anyway,
where is that recording that you're doing?
Tomorrow's at Soul Train.
Soul Train.
Yeah, it's we've only done a handful there. I think we've been there 3 times so far. We've been like slowly trying to get out of Gray Box. We're not done with Gray Box.
I was gonna say that's like the go-to.
Dude, I mean, it's great, and I feel like we kind of like discovered that place like right after it opened.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we've done so much work there. Like it's great and it looks awesome and it's beautiful. It sounds awesome. I just like, being in the same room.
Variety.
Yeah, like
spice of life.
So this place is over in Berry Hill. It's got a similar vibe, but it's like it's more like pro working studio. Like that's what Gray Box is too. But I feel like it's geared a little bit more towards like either drummers or like singer-songwriter who needs like a good background, beautiful, like
they do a lot of videos.
Yeah,
and if you remember, that's how we first connected. Because I was filming the Circumvent piece at Gray Box, and I needed a videographer, but I specifically wanted the overhead shot. And, you were one of the first recommendations.
You ended up making it happen. Right?
I made it happen.
Okay.
I'll show it to you after.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'd love to see it.
It turned out great.
Sorry that we couldn't hook that up. It's a weird thing.
I mean, I understand I had a lower budget than what I was probably asking for. So tell the good people what your role is at Meinl.
So I am it's weird. At Meinl, there's not a lot of titles, at least on the U.S. side of things, which I've always kind of appreciated. I kind of the easiest way to maybe refer to what I do is just content producer, videographer.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like it's a lot of just like drum teching too. Like a lot of like here's this list of gear. Pick all of the gear, find a kit, and bring it to this place, and then film it. So I don't know, for like long answer short, content producer, artist relations assistant. I've been in AR for about 8 years there. I can't ever remember the number, but it's about 8 years. Started in the warehouse, moved into AR in November of 2017, and been here since.
How did that transition happen?
So I started there in June of 2017, and my now boss, Chris Brewer, would be walking through the warehouse at, a few times a day, and, just being interested in people, I guess. I was, wanted to meet him and engage with him as much as I could. And it honestly ended up working out. Like, he remembered the first time that I went up to him and like said, "Hey, my name's Branndon," shook his hand. So I don't know, for me, that's one of the like proofs of like, if you just go out of your way to like introduce yourself to someone and be personable, like you literally never know what opportunity that will open. And a few months later, the guy who was in AR doing what I do now had found another opportunity. So they were needing somebody to come in, and preferably someone with, video experience, also a drummer, somebody who knows what's going on. And I don't know, that was kind of a perfect combo of things, because I had in high school and really before high school done a lot of just for passion video projects. And I was in video production in high school, did a little bit of like writing, like short film writing, entered a few short film contests in high school, but went to school for music and, naturally kind of fell out of doing that. Just because, you don't have as much time. But so graduating college, needing a job, ending up at a place where I was like, okay, this is cool. There's cymbals here. I played Meinl. I was interested in Meinl.
Because you kind of come from and we'll talk about what you're up to currently, but like the metal background, which is
Well, it's funny because I love metal, and I've loved metal since 2008. I guess was probably when I first really would call myself a metal fan, but really never thought that I'd be like playing in metal bands, like predominantly. I've always just liked playing rock, I guess naturally heavier music. I like doing that sort of thing. But it's funny, like being here now, it's like, I'm in a metal band. I really don't have any other like full-time band commitments, except for the metal group. But,
which is fantastic, since Yugen is badass.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. It requires me to keep up metal chops and practice hitting hard and not losing your stamina, because that's all part of it. But
you talked about having that kind of cross section of like, Meinl needed a videographer, obviously, who is a drummer, and then someone who understands other people, and that's Scott Adams calls that a skill stack. Like, and I love that. Like, that's, and like you said, you never know what just trying to be personable with another person can do for you in the future. That's just, it's endless.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I kind of went into it like working in the warehouse for a bit. I went into it thinking like, okay, well, there's definitely some opportunity to move up here. I would not have pictured it being like content related like that. I don't know. I kind of hate that word, content, but
I understand why.
I mean, it's all, rich musical experience. That's what it is. You're seeing it happen, but it just happens to be in a form of marketing. So
how big is the team at Meinl? Because I feel like most people wouldn't even realize that Meinl is here. Like, we have Mapex and Pearl and Innovative.
Yeah, I would say
Caviato.
Yeah, Craviato. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's somebody new here every month.
Yeah,
but,
we've got all the guitar companies. But,
right. Yeah. But I mean, comparatively, it is in all. I don't know. I never know exactly how many people are working at Meinl USA because there's Germany too, and there's other divisions around the world. Here in the U.S., I would say we're at any time the whole building is around 40 to 45 people, maybe.
Yeah.
I could be a little off with that.
And is that the only U.S. based office?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys handle all U.S. artist relations.
Yep. U.S.,
videos,
Canada, a little bit
customer
of
service.
That might change here or there. If, we had an artist move to Europe, and we still got to like keep contact with them, little pieces and parts here and there. But in terms of AR, it's me and Chris down in the AR office. So, and Chris, of course, works with plenty of other people around the company to, for whatever needs to be done. He's working with Germany a lot directly. Yeah, I mean, most of the day it's me and Chris down in our little office.
Yeah.
So
It's a powerhouse of a team. I mean, you guys are putting out some, I think most drummers would agree. I mean, Meinl has historically put out just like the top notch drum video content of any brand ever. I mean, that's a pretty sure statement I'm going to make.
I think it's pretty inarguable at this point that as far as creating content, you guys are doing it more intelligently than pretty much anyone else.
And like doing it for, especially with YouTube, and like you were one of the first companies I think to really be putting out like, this is what a high quality drum video should look like and sound like.
Yeah, I mean, my personal experience it honestly got me into the brand back in this would have been before we're doing. I think for a while they were calling it high quality content, is like the way we referred to okay, that's what this specific thing is. Yeah. But now I don't know. We're just constantly making stuff. I don't know if I really refer to it as anything, but in 2011, 2012, I can't remember whenever the Byzance Sand Benny Greb stuff was coming out, I was obsessed with his first video that, because it's in the style of Benny. It's one of his instructional DVDs, but he's talking about cymbals instead, And I was just they looked so cool, and it's Benny, and I'm what?
I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. I mean, I went and bought that. That was my first Meinl cymbal, was that 22-inch Sand Ride. But yeah, after that, probably a few more years after that, from the U.S. side of things, they started working with a video crew to produce a lot of stuff. If you go back and look at some of era 2016, 2017, actually the first session would have been the Chris Coleman Go video. It's got millions of views at this point, but that was kind of the first one. And then kind of just got more refined in terms of the process for how that stuff was made from then after that. But yeah, it's kind of just it's been almost 10 years of this specific type of work, I would say. Yeah. So, not for me, but for, for the company.
So, and what is your role exactly? I know it sounds like you wear many hats, literally. But videographer, are you editing? Are you setting up all the cameras? Kind of walk us through a day of a shoot.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm video cameras, lights, editing. I don't mix. I don't do any of the mixing. That's in the hands of others.
Is that usually the studio that you're at?
Yeah.
Or do you guys have someone at Meinl that's making sure?
No. It's usually contracted work.
Yeah. You said Steve.
Yeah. Steve.
Okay, apparently some guy named Steve.
Steve Blackman.
Shout out to Steve. Sounds good.
Steve is the man.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
That's really the only piece that's kind of that's got to come to us before I can really work on anything. But after that, it's all in house, all the video. I mean, how you and I have worked together on stuff. You were actually that session that we did over at Sound Emporium B. That was one of the first ones where I was doing the full scale video, lighting, video editing. Cause I
remember that now.
Yeah.
There, like you were extra concerned. I remember.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The first few times out before I've got everything pretty buttoned down now as far as like gear goes. But the first few times where it was like, okay, this is all in my hands, I was like, I think back those are probably the like most engaged days as far as my brain, like work for my brain. Like I'm not I'm physically exhausted at the end of the day, but I'm more just mentally like I feel like I don't even have a brain. Like not anymore, thankfully. But
yeah, I mean,
that
I feel
was
like any one of those roles could be so much, right? Like just the lighting guy or just the videographer, just the editor, just the audio engineer.
Yeah,
so
totally.
For you to do all of that, I mean, how have you sort of remained balanced in? Because I mean, a lot of times you're dealing with high pressure, high profile artists. Not Nate, of course. He's super chill.
Definitely not.
And like, and also I want to know like your top, like some memorable shoots. I mean, I'm thinking of like the Garska videos. Like, were you on that one?
Yeah, actually, me and Matt have worked together on some like extra stuff for outside of Meinl, just me and him.
You did his second series, right?
The third part,
part
of that one. Yeah, Mastering Time Part 3. We also worked together last year on it was like a live clinic thing. It's on his website.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, working with Matt is incredible. Obviously, like that, I don't even think that needs to be said. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like the process and just honing it, it's just a lot of practice. Like I can't practice and preparation, like, and then obviously having a great, support system at Meinl, being able to ask for a camera or ask for a lens and, it's like, okay, yeah.
It seems like they're not going to shy away from throwing money at what needs to be
I mean,
purchased.
It's all, we definitely, sometimes I'll rent stuff, but, we have most of what we need. I don't know. Like, it feels a lot different now. Obviously, I still, like, need to wake up and be ready to go, but it's not quite as, like, wake up in a cold sweat at 4 a.m. and, like, oh, God, I got to be at the studio in 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely how it used to be for sure, but thankfully, we're not there anymore. Yeah.
Familiarity with the thing.
Yeah.
I've done this 1,000 times now. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to forget anything I know I haven't forgotten anything catastrophic. All things that could be catastrophic are covered. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, and, there are times where, like, I have made mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes.
Branndon.
Yeah, I know. But, that's where you learn even harder. Like, I remember we were filming with Nathan Bula down in, there's a studio called Castle down in Franklin.
Yeah.
Just killer spot. We haven't been there in a while.
First studio I ever went to in Nashville.
Yeah. You're just like chilling by some horses, like on a horse farm.
Yeah.
Actually, that studio supposedly, fun fact, belonged to Al Capone's accountant.
Whoa, what?
And it sort of, from what I understand, I think kind of worked as like a halfway point from Chicago to Florida, where hopefully I'm not getting this wrong.
Oh,
but
if you're getting it wrong, I don't even care.
This is what I've heard.
If something else is true, I don't want it to be.
Right? Yeah. There's a mushroom cellar in the basement of that place.
That's definitely true. Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, we were filming with Nathan Bula. If you haven't seen those videos, they're killer. Actually, it's a sonar kit in that one too. Is really cool shoot. So that shoot, there's about half the tracks have a totally botched overhead shot, which, I don't know if you can go check them out. It's definitely not there in 2 of them. Long story short, was still kind of learning my workflow for cameras, and I forget what happened specifically, but it was like, I think I had to reset some cameras so I could, like remote record, and it reset the focus on the lens because it's, electronic focus. So the half the shot's just like, as much as you want to go in there and like try to fix it in post, like,
you cannot. I've dealt with that with this
You can
podcast.
sharpen it as much as you want, but it's just gonna look like grainy garbage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably the hardest I've ever kicked myself for this.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the overhead shot because that's, to me, that is,
That's
for
the
starters,
one.
well, back to like my personal project at Gray Box. That was like the biggest thing I wanted.
Yeah.
Because like anybody can get like a cool, 4K side angle. I want that, especially because I was trying to replicate the Todd Strickman video, which has an actual motion overhead shot.
Yeah.
I was like, I need that. I don't know how I'm gonna get it, but that was my one priority.
Yeah, I mean,
like, we ended up killing it, and like it looks absolutely killer.
yeah.
But, like, I was gonna say it too. Like, I mean, like Meinl, I feel like you guys have that down to a science. Like, what's the secret behind the overhead shot? How have you, if you're able to share anything? But I mean,
well, I mean, having a good facility to do it is number one. I don't know how much I can just straight up say, but
I'm sure, like, obviously, being a cymbal company, we need to show the cymbals, and where the cymbals are above the kit. So
yeah, that's the
kind
best.
of like naturally, okay, we need to figure out how to get a killer overhead shot. Whereas, like,
Right.
I work for Pearl, and it's like we need logo, we need the shell,
Right.
in focus. We don't care about the cymbals.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a different kind of a focus. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The Gray Box is great for that because it's got the loft.
Yeah,
up there.
that's what we used. Yeah.
There's, I mean, I'm thinking like here, if you did it here, like you'd just need a good rig basically to get it out over the kit. But aside from that, it's like, just nice lens, nice wide lens.
Yeah, you just got to kick the couple out that lives up there.
Yeah.
Couple should we meet them?
They're up there right now. They're very small.
That's a good story starter though.
It is.
You should write like a children's book, actually.
What I want to do is actually have some people just kind of chilling up there for one of these podcasts, and then make a joke like that after like an hour and a half of talking, like blah blah blah. Well, Ted's up there, and some dude just sticks his head. Hey,
Dude, I'm thinking like
we don't
sock
tell the
puppet.
guests.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like sock puppet. That
Oh,
way
yeah.
they could lay down, and then they get then it's just like that. And that's even scarier.
and then we do sock puppet segment. That's the thing that our viewership wants.
But like horrific, like very scary, like really scary.
Covered in
Not
blood and things that could harm you.
Yeah.
Syringes.
Yeah. As A24 as possible here.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry.
This derailment is sponsored by, once again, Nathan Sletner and Sock Puppets.
Yeah. Sorry. Caffeine got the best of me. Hey, drummers. Do you need a place to practice on actual drums? Drumbox has locations in Lafayette and Longmont, Colorado, and their newest location is right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can book sessions online and get the space to yourself. Each Drumbox location is fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space. Use the coupon code ANDP25 for 25% off your first session. The coupon code is valid at all 3 locations. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
That overhead shot, I mean, it's obviously like a good camera, good lighting, but maybe can you talk about like the editing process and what you guys look for? Like, and how much creative freedom do you have? Are you just given like, okay, show up next Tuesday, this artist, and you just have to run with it? Or are you involved with like the strategy before those shoots?
That's a really good question. It depends. I mean, some days we go in knowing like, okay, this is going to be more like, we're going to do a bunch of demos. Like you've done that with us before, where it's like,
Yeah, weren't you at Gray Box?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like, I think we did 2 days for that one. And the first day we did a bunch of demos. That is a pretty good way to kind of divide the Meinl Cymbal channel though. Cause it's like, I don't know if it's equal parts. It's probably still a little bit more like biased towards the fun performance
tracks,
side of it. But there's a lot of just reference content on there, which I think is probably one of my favorite parts of the channel, just from like, if there's a specific cymbal you want to hear, it's guaranteed that it's on there.
that's
Like,
the
you can
coolest,
go listen to it, and you can listen to it in context.
I just bought your the stack, the clap stack. right?
Smack Stack.
Smack Stack. God damn it. Wrong brand. And that's what I did. I knew it was going to be on the website, YouTube channel, and then
Yeah.
that was super helpful.
Yeah, that was a really long week of doing all the stuff for that demos, and
That was multiple artists, right?
we had 3 guys I think come in.
You had Calvin, right?
For Calvin. We had Tayron Lockett.
Yeah.
And
God, I love
Hey, you
him.
brought
Zach
all the Pearl
Groups.
Boys in.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, actually, I do remember seeing John a
Yeah.
few times that week.
Yeah, sure.
Where were we going again with the? I'm sorry.
You were saying how the channel is divided into like
Yeah. So it's like
samples and,
we do a lot of. Actually, we haven't done a session in a while. I think the last one would have been last year sometime. But pretty much weekly, you'll get some kind of just one angle, one setup, one artist shot playing along to some music, and it's purely just so you can hear the same cymbals in different musical contexts. So I think like that time you came in, it was with, you picked a few tracks that were on the website to play to.
Yeah.
And then we just did a bunch of demos. And it's an interesting way to like, show the stuff, in its element.
Yeah.
because one thing to just like smack the cymbal and hear it, but like in context, like you said, that's what matters.
Right. And I think just as much of that as we can, come up with is the best thing, because like, it's just like being able to go on Spotify and like type in rock, and then there's a million different playlists about rock or ambient jazz. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like there's all
Lots
these
of ambient jazz.
There's
yeah, lo-fi beats to study and chill to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I don't know.
I'm on YouTube for those. You ever watch
Yeah.
those videos? It's
The-
always
with
like the same exact
animated-
thing. Yeah.
yeah, like-
it's like a Tokyo high rise.
Like girl by the window drinking her like coffee.
Yeah. Lo-fi girl. My wife Michelle is obsessed with Lo-fi girl. She's like,
Whoever's putting those out are probably making bank, right? Because it's just like
Yeah, it's probably
it's just like a live stream where the video just runs for however long.
It's actually this is off topic now, but I was watching an interview or like a discussion between Anthony Fantano and Rick Beato the other day. And they were talking about it's really weird thing. I feel like Spotify has always been at the head of it, but how there's like AI generated lo-fi music that's just ending up on Spotify now.
Yeah.
And people, like a good portion of people will never have any idea that they're listening to computer generated music because it's that unnoticeable for most people at this point.
Because that
Which is
music
weird.
is not, it's like for the most part inorganic anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, so why not let's have the computer make it.
Yeah, why not automate it?
Yeah.
It's one less thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it can do it for me, then I'm
It just
I
hurts
know.
me.
Yeah, no, it's hard to see happen, but
What do you think what do you think is going to happen to music in the next 5 to 10 years with AI? Do you think that that's going to be, I just want your complete thoughts on it.
I think I tend to be on the cautiously optimistic side of views on AI. There's obviously a lot of controversy as far as like the effect it's having on the planet, and I guess to a lesser degree the effect or equal degree having an effect on our brains. I don't know. It's still hard to replicate a human, and I just tend to think that while some of those jobs might disappear, there's still going to be a big value placed on what we're able to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like for instance, I've messed around with some like AI tools, video editing tools. They've made my life so much easier in that respect.
Same for this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, and it has come to prominence in the last 2-3 years, I would say. And like the term AI, pretty overused. But like I've heard like producers talk about this before. The auto drummer function in Logic that they debuted probably, I don't know, close to 15 years ago. I remember using it a long time ago, and it was very primitive and not very good, pretty glitchy. Like you had to really work with it to make, if you were doing something, you know, more complex than average, you'd really have to work at it to, you know, get it to sound natural. But that's like AI. I mean, it's taking things, it's taking like themes and ideas and incorporating into that with data that is being given, you know. So it's a little bit more primitive, I guess, but you know, we've been using this stuff for a while. It's getting real juiced up now.
It's getting smarter and better and more usable.
Yeah,
sure.
and, you know, as juiced up. Many processors as you can fit into a microscopic area that, you know, fits into on a chipboard, you know, that gets smaller and smaller every year. Yeah. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like to be cautiously optimistic about it. It's hard to not think about, like, you know, the creatives that are going to feel it the most, you know, but
I kind of feel like, and maybe this is just my foolish optimism, I kind of feel like we're going to see a resurgence of people enjoying, I think you can make an argument that we're already seeing a resurgence of people enjoying more organic music, and kind of, in a way, rejecting the inorganic. I mean, like, well, I want to hear a real human performance of this thing, and I can tell when it's not, and we could already tell when everything was auto-tuned to hell, like that when there was like a 10-year period where every pop song, pop country, pop everything, was perfectly auto-tuned, and it just was painful to listen to, just horrific. And then I started hearing little flat notes here and there. I'm like, people realized that sucks. Perfect is bullshit. That's not real. It's not human. And I feel like now people are going, I want to go to shows and see people actually play music. I don't know.
I like that take. And I agree with you. Look at vinyl sales in the past like 10 years, right? It's almost like like you said, a complete, people just wanting to go the other way, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I wonder, that's interesting. I wonder if live and like touring and ticket sales have actually been up or not since like this whole AI era.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be like, in terms of going back to shows, if, you know, dealing with, you know.
Then also COVID, obviously.
Yeah, like that, the whole, however long that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first show I played after that was just like, almost felt like playing for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, I think people were hungry for that. That's certainly not a like complete contributor to that, but it is cool to see. I mean, I definitely feel like I hear just a lot more people talking about going to shows and enjoying shows. Personally, I think I've been to less shows in the last 5 years than like at all before that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that we keep trending in that direction, you know, not moving towards a plastic world.
Yeah. That would be not one I want to live in.
Yeah.
When are you playing your next show? When's Yugen playing again?
Well, from today, I'm filling in for my buddies in the band Droughts on Sunday. I don't know the date. Sunday, the 27th, I think.
There we go. I'm going to look at my calendar. You got there.
I don't know if this will be out by then, but
nope.
Yeah.
Unless AI edits it for me in 48 hours.
You will have played an excellent show by then.
Yeah, that show was so good, man. Damn.
Thanks.
I can't wait to have enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's at the 5 spot, though.
You said Sunday?
This coming Sunday. I think it was probably around 9 or so. Yeah. That's actually the first time I played this 5 spot in a really long time. Let's fill in. I got a number of shows coming up in May and June with a Christian rock artist I play with, Devin Williams.
Cool.
Played with him for almost 10 years now. Then outside of that, Yugen, man, I'd have to look at my calendar for that one. There's 2 on the board. I don't know when they are, but I will look at can I look at my phone now?
You
absolutely can, yeah. And this is probably a good segue to kind of talk about Branndon as the drummer, and we want to learn about your upbringing, your background. You wrote down in the notes, rhythmic perception.
Ooh,
that could be a conversation that lasts many hours here with Nate especially. But I want to get into all the music. We've kind of covered the business and Meinl and all that.
Hold on, I'll just look real quick and find these dates.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a lowboy Leather Daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a Leather Daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Bryce drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
You started playing at 4? Is that what I was reading?
Started playing at 4. I don't know. That's when it was like put into my hands, officially. The pots and pans thing. Everybody talks about the pots and pans stuff. Yeah, we all did the pots and pans. But 4, went to the store one day with my mom, came back. My dad had built me this little plywood stage. It was very small, like maybe from like here to the corner, not very big. And he had gotten me a groove percussion, like little 4-piece kit from the Sam Ashen Rivergate. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Wow.
Rivergate. Yeah.
Yeah, Rivergate. Still a interesting place, but
something's never changed.
Something's never changed. But yeah, that groove percussion kit got me through a number of years. I started taking lessons when I was 5. I played like a little bit of sports, not enough sports to really say that I was playing sports, but I did soccer for a little bit. Just always more interested in playing drums, I guess. And tried to make both work for a while, but it was just like, nah.
Yeah. You play hockey, right?
Oh, no. I mean, no.
You know rec league here?
No. I used to do that a little bit inline hockey, but no, that's nah. It would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to get on skates.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm too afraid of hurting myself these days.
Yeah. I do. But you have played hockey.
I have played, not for real. Like it was like a neighborhood league.
Sure.
But
it's one league better than I've ever been in. So.
Yeah. The whole organized sports thing, it's like it's too rigid. There's too much like
can be.
Yeah. I don't know. The soccer was fun. I enjoyed it. I like running around, but drums kind of took over eventually. I played I studied with my teacher, Kyle Jones. Started doing that first at a place called Mars Music in 100 Oaks. Is where that was back in the day. After that, I took a break from lessons for a while. I actually think I tried to go back and play soccer. And then it was just like, no.
Like, just let me be really sure that I don't want to do this.
Right. So
drums. Yeah.
Yeah. And after that gap, Kyle had left Mars Music and was teaching out of his house. So picking it back up, I started every week, instead of going to Mars Music, I would go to Kyle's house in Hendersonville. And that lasted probably from like 6th grade, really all the way up until I graduated high school. Just every week going to Kyle's house. And Kyle, man, I haven't seen Kyle in so long, but Kyle did like so much for me. Like, and I truly think that like, learning from anybody else, I would have been a totally like who even knows how different things would have been. But he's just crazy. He turned me on to Tony Williams at a very early age. Not to say that's like special. Oh, I knew about Tony Williams before everybody else. Like no, but like I feel like he just wanted to inject me with these like kind of free-minded concepts of, 2 rhythms at the same time, but making them feel like one. And everything written out crazy on a page. Like it was, there was never any like, this is going to sound bad, never any like care written into like, it was just like, it's 8 notes, it's a 16th notes, here's some bars, and he's an incredible artist too. So he would
picturing like a Whiplash, like.
It's he's not remotely violent.
Not
no,
violent, not an asshole, but like that same like passion and
he was just always like he had these crazy like just like words that he would make up, and then like chicken bakken, and he would put chicken bakken on the thing, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I learned to like read that. I learned to read rhythms at least there, and that I don't know. I feel like it established such a good foundation for me of like not so much like this is out of a book, this is an eighth note, this is a quarter note. It was just like, here's how you apply these rhythms, and here's how you this is what your right hand's typically doing, here's what your left hand's typically doing. Maybe you swap them around and you try to the left hand's doing what the right hand normally does, stuff like that. And then like just listening to everything. My dad has like such awesome musical taste, and he started me out on a lot of cool stuff. And I would go, we'd listen to stuff in the car all week, and then I'd have a list of things that I'd give to Kyle and be like, hey, can we learn this part? The first song I ever actually learned on drums was Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Yeah.
What a first song.
Yeah, just
Great
like
first song.
Manu Katché was like, I don't know. He was like my first, aside from Neil Peart, was like my first like, whoa, that's the dude. So, stuff like that, just learning by listening, learning by repeating. And yeah, like I said, that lasted for like 6 years, from sixth grade to the little bit before I did sixth grade, and then all the way into high school. After that, it was just college, But that, I would say, that was the bulk of my like drum set education growing up. Yeah. I also did band too, which is a big part of it too.
Yeah, I know you did WGI and you did Music City Mystique.
Yeah, I did a year of Mystique. Yeah. I think it just kind of ended up being, I was in college at the time, so I was like just burned out, man. Like
was doing quads?
No, I was for ensemble. I was in side 2 rack.
Sick.
So
I was looking at your height as maybe a tenor player.
Yeah, well, I played snare in high school.
Okay.
It was a big difference. I did started actually like you could start marching band at my school in 7th grade. So with the high schoolers, so it wasn't a separate thing. Like you just got to tag along with the high schoolers. Yeah. We needed those extra bodies too, because like our band program was a great band program, but very small. So started doing marching band in 7th grade, where I played drum set in the front ensemble. And I wanted to play snare so bad, dude. Like I was obsessed with like the sound of a marching snare.
Yeah.
I really liked tight drums.
Yeah.
Like
that's it. Yep.
Yeah. Like growing up, I was just like, I want to crank this snare like as hard as I can. And then like going to like, Friday night football games. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that a marching snare was like a marching snare and that it's tuned to death,
There might not be a better feeling in the world than just doing like the perfect crisp roll or like rudiment on a marching snare.
Dude, nothing better. Just with like even bigger than, well, not as heavy as these, but like giant sticks,
Yeah.
It's just nice. And so like I wanted to play snare so bad. I wanted to learn how to just like ram notes for like years.
Yeah.
And so the first time I like actually saw one of those drums up close, I was like, oh, that's like a lot longer than all of my other drums, but it sounds way higher. How is this possible?
Yeah.
And then of course you figure out it's a different head.
Mm-hmm.
It's way tighter.
Yeah.
So and then
It's got a lot more lugs on it.
it does.
A lot more.
Yes. And a lot heavier too.
14 by 12 versus a 14 by 6.5.
Right. And so I just kind of like, I had a really good, we was talking about like support systems earlier. I had a really good support system there. My friend Jeremiah, who I marched with for 4 years in high school, he did a bunch of drum corps, did a bunch of WGI. And I was always felt like I was chasing that, and I had that like tangible example of like, this is what it takes. Like you've got to basically drum all the time to be that good.
Yeah.
And just like being obsessed with it.
Turns out that's the secret.
That's the secret.
Beyond, you can have
you can watch a million videos on the chop or groove that you should learn, but the answer is just like, do you want to practice 3.5 hours a day? Like,
Right.
like the average virtuoso does?
Right. You just got to do it.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and naturally it's harder with drums because they're loud and the form factor is kind of ridiculous. But that's what I will say about snare specifically is like I was just able to pad it out all the time. Like, and you don't really. I mean, it feels different. You get pad hands.
Yeah, sure.
But like, the general mechanics are the same. Like I can sit here in my room
It's
until
more of a
4
one-to-one
a.m.
connection.
Yeah.
Whereas like a pad to drum set is that's a different beast,
Right.
Pad to tenors, 5 different drums, that's different.
Yeah. It's spatial, awareness of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say like the snare side of things, like the chops just like really gave me a lot. Like because you build all those muscles and like, what it feels like to have really great chops.
Yeah.
Maybe your hands don't feel like that anymore, but you know what it takes to get them back there.
Yeah.
And
You know what it takes to sharpen the axe.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of the next step for me was learning snare. Did snare for 4 years. It's funny, like my senior year of high school, we just didn't have enough people to have a drum line, which sucked because like we had gone so hard for like 4 years. I wish I could show y'all like the snare breaks that we were playing by the end of my 4th season. It was like the stupidest. We're talking about like a 25-member band out on the field, and we're just like coming up, like ramming, like doing all the tricks, and like, it's just utterly ridiculous. And then to like just my senior year, like it's supposed to be like the funnest year of high school, and then like it was so great. I mean. Yeah. We had a back ensemble that year, actually. So I played drum set again. Got to write all my parts. That was cool.
I love that. We love that.
Yeah, that was fun. But, we were in the back of the field. It was kind of awkward. But, because, you listen forward.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of in a nutshell my high school band experience. There was a lot more like, I did like jazz band and concert band, but that was all just like filler compared to marching band. That's like why we were not all of us. That's why I was there, Yeah.
Do you find like, I know obviously there's a million example of people who get into the, core style playing and have difficulty applying that to the drum set or worse yet, some people who get so focused on that maybe like their touch on the drum set suffer. Like they sound like they're playing in a drum line, but I don't feel that when you're playing. I'm like, I do feel that you're extremely clean, but I've never been like, well, it just sounds like the touch is weird. How have you avoided that? Or how does one avoid that if you are learning those kind of things?
Well, thank you, first of all. I would say that I really had to do a lot of, I'll call it unlearning through college. Because like I was saying, that was the next step. I'd done, played to a metronome for all these years. And then it's like, all right, now go play a bossa nova in front of a bunch of college professors so you can get into this school.
Yeah.
I think I would probably looking back, it would be very cringy looking back on that era of Branndon, like 2012, I started going to college in 2013. So like my senior year of high school, the year before that, like I said, I'd done drum set my last year's band. So that, I feel like that kind of pulled me back down out of that. Like, okay, here, it's not about ramming notes anymore. It's about like being a timekeeper, a literal timekeeper again. Like we're back to
feel.
Yeah. And they're still very rigid because like you have to be with the Met. But like I would say I just spent a lot of time my freshman year of college trying to kind of like mud it back up, like grit it back up from like being so, you're kind of playing on top of the beat.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, are you like right on time with marching band stuff? Yeah. I don't know. It's probably different for everybody, but just kind of working on laying it back
Yeah.
I literally think that's probably what I did the most of. It's like, relax. Like, be chill. You know, don't rush, basically. The tendency is to rush, right?
Yeah.
So
sometimes if you're on time, you're actually rushing. If that's not what the field's supposed to be. Like, I need you to
totally.
I need that snare to be like a millisecond behind the actual where the backbeat would be.
Yeah.
Put that there.
Yeah. We were talking about Benny earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was a good, like, pro example of seeing, okay, this is a dude who just, like, this is a white German dude, and he's just, like, laying it back.
Yeah.
Like, unlike anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And, like, seeing those more, like, real-world examples of just somebody who could be gritty like that.
And to be honest, too, like when you listen to his younger stuff, it's not like that. It's more, I mean, he's always had a great sound, but as he's gone on and on, he's just developed that more and more.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, every time I hear him, I'm like, yeah, it got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't he talk about that? Like how feel can be
that's
learned and
the whole art and science of groove thing.
Yeah.
He's like, you can learn this. Anybody who's telling you that it can't be learned is just, it's not true because I learned it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like seeing those examples it's a huge help. And then of course, never stop listening, you know, like never stop listening to the stuff you enjoy listening to and never stop figuring out how to match that kind of thing. Yeah. Another dude that I really kind of gave me sort of an awakening about that was Josh Dion.
Oh,
from Paris Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just so like, he's just one of those dudes that like music just flows out of him.
He's nasty.
Like one of the guys, like he's just a dude who doesn't play a wrong note because every note has like the soul of 1,000 people behind it. You know, like I can't even describe it. Like there's one track that he did for Meinl. It was before I was like filming stuff. I think I edited that one. But what's the name of that song? Had Damon Caught His Sloan. That was the name of the song. And there's a part where he just goes to the hi-hat with like the back of a mallet. Like he flips his drum set mallet over and he's just like playing. And I like, oh my God. Like that's the video I would show to someone if I'm like this, like hi-hat's its own instrument. Yeah. You know, like
yes.
My God. Like that's the video I would show them. Yeah. It's like that. It was like you could spend years figuring out how to play the hi-hat. Yeah.
That's true.
Ride cymbal.
And it would not be wasted time.
No.
Because by the way, you're going to play that in a lot of the music, especially in a lot of music, you're going to be playing it more than everything else.
Yeah.
True.
The quantity of it. So why not figure out the thing that you're going to hit the most often? Why don't you figure out how to make that sound the actual way you want it to sound?
Dude, it's got so many sounds. It's got like way more sounds than any other cymbal.
Yeah, and like open hi-hat technique, it's so like such a grand spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? Like very open, like rock versus just a little bit open to then like in one bar, I took a lesson with Near Z and he talked about like, can you do a build and open up just your left foot through a 4-count in one bar?
Yeah.
And have the rest of your limbs stay the same. Like, it was like, that's freaking detail.
Yeah.
That's why you're the best session drummer ever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going back to like what you were asking. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a process. I still feel like I don't quite have it. Like just in terms of like being able to be like a pocket dude and like laying it back. I can play pocket. I can do it. But like I definitely don't have like a masterful pocket. You know? But we're getting there.
I think it's something we're all working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're Garska, it's like we can all always improve our pocket.
Yeah.
He'd say I can too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Pocket improving.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. You know, I had someone give me a critique a couple years ago, and they said, you have great pocket for someone whose obsession for the last 20 years wasn't somebody just playing the pocket. Like you don't have great pocket compared to the dudes whose only thought for the last 20 years was, how do I make my pocket deeper?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, that like fucked me up. And I was like, okay.
In a good way.
All right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so grateful for that critique because I spent the next 6 months solid doing the most absurd, focusing on where snare and kick placement was as compared to the hi-hat and compared to the met and I'm like, okay. And I just started really honing in on that. And it turns out if you have just gobs and gobs of experience and a lot of hours on the instrument, sometimes that's just an observation thing. It's not even a skill thing. You're like, you just have to have your eyes and ears opened to the thing. And then you go, oh, that's what I was missing. And then you're already 50% of the way there. And then you just go, okay, cool. I'm going to dig into that hard for 6 months. And now it feels kind of natural.
Yeah. That's interesting because like we were talking earlier about like I studied a lot of like Tony Williams concepts growing up, but I'd like none of that was like traditional jazz. Like,
right.
I mean, dude could play like a swing better than anybody to ever live, but like it was more of just like the exotic side of Tony Williams. And like that's one like kind of discrepancy I would say I had going into music school and seeing a bunch of other dudes who really could play it well, like play swing. Like these are swing players.
Yeah.
Was like, I feel like I kind of missed out on some stuff. Like, okay, yeah, I know who Tony Williams is. I know Gene Krupa. I know Philly Joe Jones. I know all these guys, but like I did not put in the time of like figuring out the tradition of jazz and like swing. So like I felt like I had a discrepancy there. And I also, we were just talking about pocket. I really felt like I had not, like there's all these dudes who were way ahead of me, like just in my freshman year of like, they could sit down and play John Bonham grooves like John Bonham.
Yeah.
You know? And I knew what those sounded like. I could write them out for you and replicate them. But in terms of that placement, that sort of subconscious placing of notes and like self-mixing, like I was so far behind on. I really, that was a really I was very self-conscious about that for a while. Like
this is at Belmont.
At Belmont, right? Yeah.
Where I'm sure there's just loads of incredible players coming in.
Yeah, it was interesting because I didn't go to a music high school. I went to a private Christian school, which is probably as opposite of a music arts school as you can get. But in Belmont, I guess it's a private Christian school as well. But they had a much better music program than anything I'd ever been a part of.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was scary. So like walking in and seeing like, oh my God, I have not done this. Now on the other side of it, there were a lot of things that like I had done. I'd spent plenty of time on, and not that it's a game.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to look back on it and say like, yeah, this is where I was and this is where everybody else was.
That thing happened to me. I did a little 5-day. It was at the time it was called LA Music Academy. And I did this like 5-day jazz course thing. And I remember I got at one point they're having people get up and play at a shuffle, and Ralph Humphreys was like, your shuffle needs work. I was like, damn, that sucks. And then the next day they were playing this thing in an odd time, and I got up and played, and like I was like phrasing with my left foot. He was like, you sound really good. I was like this thing, I'm a nerd. I'm like, I haven't figured out the normal stuff. Like I had to go and backtrack and figure that stuff out. I'm like, that's easy for me. That feel, no problem.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, so we all have our strengths, but I think if you're like us, you're like, well, if you see holes in the game, you're like, I want to figure those out. I want to figure out how to make it feel like that. That sounds so cool. And I know it doesn't sound like that when I do it. Why doesn't it sound like that?
Right.
Yeah. It makes me crazy.
Yeah. I like when you were talking about that, it made me think about like, this sort of rise in online education and how interesting it has been to see like sort of the globalization of drum education and like anybody on earth could learn drums, even just from free videos at this point.
Yeah.
But I never learned like that. I learned a little bit from books. I learned, like I was saying, mostly from a teacher in the same room. But it's just interesting to like see the different perspectives on like somebody as basic as they can, just showing you how a rock groove, like it's like the most basic drum groove you could think of. There's still a way to teach that. And there's still a need for it to be taught.
Yeah.
But
and there's going to be a dude who sits and plays that exact thing, and it sounds 10 times better than you doing it or whoever doing it. Like, well, why? What the fuck? Like, why? It doesn't sound like that when I do it.
Listening to Bernard Purdy play a simple groove like that.
Right. I'm like, well,
I can play that exact thing note for note transcription, and it does not sound anywhere near.
Correct.
It's like, why?
I'm like, well,
what do I need to do?
Understand. It's written here like this.
Right.
Oh, I want it. I want that.
Yeah.
I want that thing.
Yeah.
Do y'all know Bernard Purdy's on Reddit?
What?
Yeah, I came across
He's
this.
on Reddit now?
Dude,
I actually, I'll tell you about this after.
Oh,
dude. Someone told me about that, yeah.
Dude, okay, so I like literally.
I don't think it's him doing it. Like, I think it's
it
somebody
might
else.
be somebody else doing it, but okay. So I whatever, scrolling through my Reddit feed last week, and a picture of Abe Cunningham from Deftones and Bernard Purdy shows up on my feed, and it's on the Deftones. It's r/Deftones. Yeah. And I was like, well, this is interesting. But I guess like they were just in the same city, but no, from what I could gather, Bernard Purdy was like there to see Abe Cunningham. Like was like stoked about meeting Abe. Yeah, and like posted a picture. I just like not reading this right, but they met each other, and I went and clicked on his like profile, and he's like all of the blue OP post markings on Reddit. You know, when you see the OP like reply to something, it's just like line and line and line of him saying thanks. Yeah. Glad you liked it. Or it's like, it literally seems like an 85-year-old man on here. Yeah. Like it all adds up. But I just thought it was really funny. Dude,
someone told him to get on there.
And how amazing is that? How much life does that dude have, like, in him? Like, there's so much. I'm not trying to insinuate anything there.
No,
literally, there's just so much life and like joy.
Yeah. Not how much does he have left?
No.
How much was there already?
Yeah. But it's like, what a joy it is to have like guys like that around.
But also,
the
other thing too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm glad he's doing something like that.
Yeah, totally, and could still shuffle your face off.
Yeah, that's true. Bernard, man. That's insane. Yeah. Bernard on Reddit. That's...
Hopefully it's not someone just like out here trying to gain clout on senseless website.
It could be.
Could be.
What's going on, drummers? If you're looking to learn how to record drums from home or how to run backing tracks during a live show, because you know it's going to give you more opportunity in the music scene, we made Groove MPL just for you. So Groove MPL is a website where you can find a library of classes that are taught by the best of the best. So we've had Tim Buell, we've had Kip Allen, who you can hear on songs by Keith Urban, we've had Daniel Sauls, who plays for Lauren Daigle, and all sorts of other fantastic musicians. So my name is Taylor Friest, and when I moved here to Nashville, I saw the people that were becoming successful as drummers here, and they were the ones that really understood these other topics aside from just how to play drums, which is great, but as you try to grow in the scene, you realize you have to learn so much more to get these other opportunities. So if you're looking to dive into these topics and get some more opportunities in the drumming scene, you can sign up at groovempl.com with the code NDP, all capital, for Nashville Drummers Podcast, and get 50% off your first month. I look forward to meeting you all.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of meeting back up to where we started, just from like I graduated and then started working at Meinl. Basically, it's kind of just been that. I
want to know when did Yugen and the metal scene sort of take off here? And because funny enough, so if you know Corey Boyes from Mystique, another Nashville guy that we had on the show, and we had a very kind of similar conversation, especially with the drum corps conversion from there to being a Nashville drummer. But also he's in, some indie, more heavy bands as well here. And I'm just curious, like what that experience has been like for you, not doing like the typical Nashville country. And
that's a great question. I am a Nashville drummer. I guess I always have been, but I'm
on this podcast, you better well dandy.
I'm pretty much the antithesis of like working Nashville drummer. Yeah. I'm not gigging all the time. I have been here, and I feel like I know what's going on today better than I ever have. But Yugen, I did not start Yugen. I joined Yugen in 2020. Their drummer was leaving, and I had played many shows. Well, I don't want to say many, a few shows in another band I was in called Edge of Reality.
Shout out Edge.
Shout out Edge. But so that connection was sort of made through that. They knew me from that. I had left Edge of Reality at the middle of 2019. And it was kind of just like hanging, wasn't really in a band, after that. And then the opportunity came to fill in with Yugen on a few shows. This all went down like right before COVID. I'd only played maybe like 3-4 shows with him before it all went away. So after, we were all locked up, we kind of, decided that, well, might as well just like have you in the band now and have you write with us on our next EP. So that was kind of our COVID project, was a EP called Haunt, little 4-track deal. Really ever since then, it's just kind of been singles that we've worked on. But it's an interesting collaborative thing. We're working on some new stuff right now. It's always just kind of like there's something brewing in the Yugen camp, That's like cool. We're not always like hammering away at stuff, but there's more often than not just always something over there, that we can be like, yeah, we'll work on this. Oh, there's a plan. Yeah. And so that's really cool. I like that about Yugen a lot, that we all care about just creating. Yeah. And I think, in today's age, singles are kind of the norm. Yeah. We would love to write an album, like a full length, I think, but it's just like, that's just going to take us longer. And there's not going to be anything in between that, Yeah.
Time and money, of course.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked out a pretty good workflow as far as like what our production process is, our writing and a production process is. But I love playing live too. Like it's the first time I actually was like playing while people were moshing was like that was a special moment. Dude,
yeah.
I retired from moshing in 2012. I was at a BT BAM show, and he
knows the date and time.
Dude, Louisville, Kentucky. It was very hot. It was like August, dude. There's this, I don't know, it's still open, this place called Hangar 5 up in Louisville, or maybe it's a little outside Louisville. There was Summer Slaughterfest that we went up there to see. And, dude, man, I was just like, I almost dislocated my knee. I was like so hot that I was like almost throwing up. That was my last mosh. But I love to see people mosh. I love it.
Last mosh.
I have a weird thing about it now because I'm like, damn, I'm getting old. I got to be careful. Like I'm using. I can't like break a wrist or something like that'll put me out of work.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And at the same time, I went and saw Fall of Troy, and I'm like, I'm gonna polish this pit.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're doing this.
That's a great moshing band.
Yeah.
Was that recent?
Yeah. That was like, I guess it was late last year.
They're coming here again, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're coming to Eastside Bowl.
Yeah, that's where they were.
Oh, okay.
That show was, and they were playing with A Lot Like Birds and Hail the Sun.
I totally remember when that happened. Yeah.
I'm like, what is the name of that South American band? They were sick. They were insane. The whole thing ended with this big, badass drum circle, and all the drummers from the other bands came out, and it was really cool. I can't remember what the hell they're called. I'm ashamed of this. It's going to go in the show notes when I figure it out.
They're a sweet band. I saw them at Mercy Lounge. They played with Chon. It was like 2018.
I was
You were
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great show.
Yeah, it was a
I
great
think they
show.
were, are they still a 3-piece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, man. It's just not better than 3 dudes just like throwing down on stage.
Smashing.
Yeah.
Yes, animals as leaders. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just power trio, man.
We're so good that we do not need anybody else in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Each one carries so much weight.
Dude. And that guy, Andrew, their drummer, hits so
Yeah.
flipping hard. He's one of the hardest hitters I've ever watched.
Is that the same guy that would have been playing with him?
Yeah, shorter dude,
Yeah.
jacked, and just full, the most giant swings possible.
Totally. And that's not easy music to play loud, like fast.
Yeah. And they have that. I love and that's what when we're talking about feel, that is not to the grid. That is not
no.
There's a swing in it, you know.
Yeah.
He plays a little bit ahead right there, and this part's a little bit behind. And that's
yes.
But it's the same when he does it live versus on the record. It's the same. So that's the thing that you're doing. That's cool. That's identity.
Yeah, it feels like tighter live though. At least maybe it's just like the production of those older records. At least where I'm just kind of like it's not any worse. It's just like it's very organic there. It's a little like more like spruced up and tighter live, but still has that like.
So maybe they've just gotten better, you know.
Yeah, could be. Maybe playing actually makes you better.
It turns out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
What are some of your favorite metal venues in this city?
I mean, I've always said if it comes to the a bulldozer being in front of the end, I'll stand in front of it. I'll lay down.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, playing there now sucks because the parking and then the high rises. But same deal. I would be distraught.
Yeah, I think a lot of us.
Yeah.
We all joke about it, and but it's. I always have such a good time there. It's a special place. There's so much history there.
It's so divey, and I love it. That one, East Room, is another. Every show I've played there, I just have good memories from.
Mm-hmm.
There's
same.
Across the street, Cobra.
Yeah.
Cobra's all right, but I would still if anything happened to you, I'd be upset.
Right.
And it's parking is a thing there too, and I load in, load out. As a drummer, I think that's the thing I think about the most. Is how far I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
The Cobra parking, I always think about that straight up
the empty lot
meteor landing of a divot that's back there.
Yeah.
Wow. Still there, huh?
It's sketchy out back, man.
It's
crazy. We played a show there last year in August, I think. It was with No Cure, and I forget who else was on that bill, but it was one of those 5-band metal extravaganzas on a Thursday. I had left to go home after we played, which I know sucks sometimes, but
sometimes you got to do it.
Sometimes you got to do it. I got to be up early, but there was a fight broke out later that night, and 2 members of No Cure, I think it was No Cure, got stabbed.
Holy shit!
Whoa!
At the Cobra.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of been adding up for me there over the years. It's We had a murder out back.
Right.
We had multiple
Parking always
stabbings
sucks.
at a show.
Yeah.
Stabbing, murder, bad parking.
There's now a very expensive
3.
chicken and waffles restaurant
Yeah.
open next. It's delicious.
It does look great, yeah.
but it's
trying
very
to help on the cause.
very expensive, and now it's why they've had to like make their parking paid parking now. So
Come on, expensive chicken and waffles place. Stop it.
I know Chicago's own.
Have you played, speaking of dive bars, Springwater?
Yeah,
I'm guessing
I would have gotten there eventually.
Okay, yeah.
Springwater is the place that I can never hate because I
Right.
know exactly what to expect going in. It's definitely harder to play heavier music there because you just got no bottom end. And we got dudes hanging the mic. The cab is here and they hang the mic over the top of the cab, like pointing at the floor, like
That's doing a
that
lot.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
You're
great.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for micing the floor,
Oh,
sir.
I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's all cash bar. They got pool next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, it's also the oldest bar in the state of Tennessee.
I've heard that.
Yep,
Really?
it's been open for a long time.
Yeah.
Pretty much untouched too. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Springwater, another one. The places have come and gone over the years, but I've never played East Side Bowl, but that is a really great venue. I think it's funny that whole thing used to be a Kmart.
Did it really?
It used to be a Kmart. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's what I tell everybody.
From such humble beginnings.
Just like Inglewood Lounge used to be a chicken restaurant.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know
National
that
history.
Yeah, man. I've been out here. I've been out here in this very area for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
Well, kind of going off of that, I mean, obviously you've seen the change of the city for better or for worse. What has that experience been like?
well,
Not even from a musical standpoint, but just living here and, cost of living and all that kind of stuff.
it's hard to not be a little jaded at times.
Yeah.
I think it would be like a little unnatural to be just whatever. Like y'all do whatever you want to the town. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I try to be as like accepting and optimistic of it. Like obviously Nashville wouldn't be as big now on a global scale if not for as many people coming here. Like we've always been known as a music city, but like we've been breaking out of this sort of country mold. And there's still plenty of country here, but there's just everything here. People move here for everything now, and I think that's really cool. And personally, I moved out of the county because I was like, this traffic sucks. But I don't know. Like, I still got to drive into town. I'm still here every day. I think personally that was like my attempt at just like maintaining a breath, like some air, just being able
Let me
to
see it from a distance.
Yeah.
I'm still very involved. And,
Yeah.
You're still here.
I live out in the country now, so I've always been a country boy at heart. Not really, but I am a pretty hard city boy. I was raised in Inglewood, so it's cool. I think there are things that are hard to just look at and be like okay with, like there's a lot of weirdness downtown from the like whole ethical side of serving alcohol to people and like total randos doing crazy things to people's drinks and like it's scary. It's scary to kind of like have that reputation, like because so many people are like, oh man, you must go downtown all the time and like no.
Not if I'm not working.
It's but then they also add on, it's like, oh, did you hear about the guy that like disappeared? And then like, or did you hear about this girl that like, at least once a week I see like a post on the Nashville Reddit of like, I think I was drugged last night. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we letting this happen?
It is sort of a stain on this city. Like,
yeah.
we love the city, but it's like, that shit's still happening, or it's getting worse. Maybe I don't really know. But.
It's
I hear it happening at some spots more than others, which is weird and interesting.
I mean, you would definitely have more of a like. I just know it for like I don't go down there, but you definitely have more knowledge about where is where.
It's and it's not necessarily in the spots that you would think, but like obviously and I don't want to like say like you guys can do your own research. You know what I mean? I'm not going to defame any bars or anything, but yeah, there are certain spots where it seems like that happens maybe more than most.
I can think of one that I'm not going to name.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're going down there and you're getting drinks, I think it's just a good plan to not leave them. Don't leave them sitting somewhere.
Don't leave them there. Yeah. I tell everybody, like, you got to go see it at least once. Like, you might like this.
Yeah.
You might like going down there. I don't, but like, it's a bucket list item. Just like, going to Bourbon Street or Beale Street. Like,
totally.
it's just a big party street.
Yep. I went to Bourbon Street once. I was like, cool, that's enough.
Right.
That's good.
I walked on that street for like 5 minutes and I was like, cool.
I was like, it's like Broadway,
that.
but it's dirtier and there are more prostitutes.
Right. There's no cars.
There's no cars. That's true. That's true.
I've been kind of just wanting them to do that for a while. Like, keep all the side streets open, but like close it off. It's closed at least a few times a week anyway.
If they could figure out a way to do that and not absolutely demolish my ability to get into work.
That's what I worry about, because it's like we need a whole system on this.
Listen,
and
we need like a parking garage just for players, where like you clock in, like you don't even enter the garage until you are somehow confirmed that you're playing a shift or something.
We need a transport system for those people.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like that would make it so easy. Oh, you can come in on the musician tram that runs.
Place with like lockers.
That'd be sick. Yes. Yes.
Like,
exactly.
Like you could just keep all your stuff in a locker, and you wouldn't have to worry about loading it and out. And you could keep a cart there.
What billionaire wants to partner with the three of us on a locker system for musicians downtown?
Did we just figure out Nashville's transit
unlocked?
Right
we can make this happen.
No, we don't need to get a billionaire involved.
In the comments,
the three of us, we're going to become billionaires from it.
And we can talk about
this. Is it. It happened in this room today.
This is it.
This is where it started.
Life is changing.
Andy will figure it out in like 24 hours.
That's true.
He's got drum supply. He's got locker system there. He's got that vending machine thing, So
God bless Andy.
Yeah.
Some sort of system.
You know what's weird? There's a half of me that still feels very much that exact way about Broadway. And I don't want to have to be down. I don't want to have to be down there if I'm not working. There was a time when I was feeling jaded, even going down there and working. I'm like, oh man. And then something happened, and I don't know what. It's just gratefulness. I was like praying about it, and then like I just literally was on the phone with my mom about to load in, and I was like, I stepped out of my car, and I smelled the like Broadway smell. Like cigarettes in the air and the like whatever, the garbage and all this, and I was just and I heard the cacophony of 18 bands that I can like hear right away, and I was like, I'm glad to be here.
That's good.
And it was like something happened. I don't know what it is, but I have.
You really set that scene perfectly. I could.
Yeah, I felt it.
I felt that. Yeah, to my core.
It's just I don't know. I enjoy it now. I can easily say 30% more just in general. Like I have a weird appreciation for it, especially now that I know where to go find the really badass bands. I'm like, I know. Cause it's one thing if you're just going down blind. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to find, like, you might find people who have been playing together. I've been playing down here 6 months. Like, okay, maybe a little bit more experience, and then I'll come back and check your band out again. But then you find people like, I just discovered this dude. Apparently, he's a Nashville institution. His name's Chris Weaver. He plays at the Stage. It was like a 9-piece band with horns. They're destroying. They sound so tight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I know I can go see that. And I'm like, I know when these badasses are playing.
Yeah.
That feels a little cooler to me now.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, going down there in high school, like with my friends, when it was just so much quieter. Like, I mean, it's still, like, you walk on Broadway, it's noisy. There's a bunch of music. But, like, you could have a very leisurely walk around downtown in 2011, 2012.
Yeah. Even in the
totally
evening.
undisturbed. Yeah, like totally undisturbed, unless it was CMA week. But, Yeah, it's the biggest difference now is like it's not all just live music anymore. Like if you get close enough to Broadway, it's like 808s and like just like the loudest, like ridiculous whatever, and it nothing is mixing together well because it's all different music. I remember a time though, it's like you walk down there, stand like maybe Broadway's like closed off, and you're standing in the middle of Broadway. It's all I used to be able to hear was like unmiked snares.
Yes.
Playing backbeats. Just and they're just kind of like everywhere, you know? Like that was a sound, I'm sure at points it would still sound like that. But now
sounds
it's
like
just
either
like
hell to most people or heaven to us.
Yeah.
Just snares,
It's an acquired taste. That's all I'll say.
It is.
But I do remember a specific situation going down there, and this was before I was even doing it for a living. I think I was like kind of thinking about it, and I was walking down First Street back when there were still bars open over there, and there were like 3 dudes about to walk onto Broadway, and I heard their pep talk start, and the guy's like, "All right, guys, we're in Nashville," then blah, blah, blah. And I starts talking about like this is the real Nashville experience, and I was just like, all of the actual Nashville people are throwing up in their mouth knowing that you're saying this right now. They're like, this is not, this does not represent Nashville historically. This doesn't represent any of the people who really have lived here forever. Not at all.
Well, just like wasn't a thing. Right. Like growing up, like people hung out down there, but it wasn't like all the dudes, all the bros talking about getting together and like, we're going to destroy Nashville this weekend. Like, okay, whatever that means, dog.
Hey, if you're thinking that you're going to do that, Nashville's going to destroy you.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Exactly.
I literally don't even remember like the concept of bachelorette parties.
Oh, gosh.
The transportainment thing really started all that.
Yeah.
Like the wagons, the pedals, whatever they are. Yeah, that
Horse
really
carriages,
kicked that off.
Yeah.
Which is kind of its own separate issue.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give props to Nashville, and this is not to throw shade at anybody who might have been running this business at the time, and maybe I'm just missing it because maybe it's still up and running. But I remember when I was doing Daddy's Dogs and I was serving behind Whiskey Row before Morgan Wallen's bar was there. I had been doing that, serving at that cart for like 6 months, and it was the first time I saw the mobile jacuzzi. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
I haven't seen that in years, and I'm very happy because my first reaction was, again, just vomit in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's the foulest thing I've ever seen.
It's just gross.
That's so gross.
It's just disgusting.
The transportainment, I've never heard that term before.
Yeah,
Like that's they've taken it like we're like this is people already don't like the pedal taverns. They're annoyed by that. They're annoyed by the buses. Everyone's annoyed by all that stuff. It's annoying. Like that was like there's nothing lower. No, this is it. That's lower.
The hot tub.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm proud. Our city didn't stick with that idea.
Yeah. Well, we were always scared of those coming to the east side of the river, and I think they have now. Like, at least to maybe like turn around or something. Yeah. But I don't know, the new stadium over there, that's all going to change real soon. But it has been my whole life, at least. There's been a pretty distinct line there at the river. Like, downtown doesn't spill over to the other half.
Yeah.
Like,
which is nice.
Yeah. Up until now.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a whole turf war after that's built.
Man, yeah.
Don't bring any entertainment from over there over here, or we get a cut.
Yeah.
This is my territory.
It's gonna be an interesting.
I'm rewatching Breaking Bad and just.
Anchorman for a second. Yeah.
It's a great show. Yeah. No, it's gonna be an interesting few years. I mean, for Nashville as a whole, but specifically that divide right there. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Founded in 2020, Sonique Drums is dedicated to crafting thoughtfully designed percussion accessories and steam-bent snare drums. Every product is designed and built for drummers who demand quality and reliability. Industry firsts like the NATO family of continually adjustable throw-offs and the socket drum key set Sonique Drums apart from the rest. You can find Sonique snare drums and percussion accessories online or at partner drum shops across the U.S., including Nashville's own Nelson's Drum Shop. Check them out at soniquedrums.com.
Well,
Should we do some wrap up questions?
let's do it.
We're about
feels like it.
hour and a half in. So
Yeah.
Nice.
give us if you weren't filming or drumming, what would you be up to?
Right now,
What are you up to?
right now I'm gardening tomatoes. It's almost tomato season.
Whoa,
Yeah.
tomatoes.
How's tomato gardening?
Good. This will be like my fourth like actual solid year of doing it. I've like added parts like pieces to the process every year. Like I used to just go buy the plants at like Lowe's,
Yep.
which is like way more expensive than it needs to be, especially now. But yeah, I start from seed. I've got a couple of beds out back. That's one thing I really like about living up in Greenbrier is like I got a backyard and I can plant and just grow things at my leisure. Yes. I've had better years than others, but yeah, like right now it's like I'm thinking about this time of year like all year long.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah. So I've got 32 plants.
Oof.
Those all won't all get planted because I don't simply do not have the like dedicated room yet. I'm building another bed in a few weeks, but yeah, I tried some other stuff like I did some cucumbers and stuff last year. Pepper. I usually do some peppers too.
Peppers is the way, man.
Yeah, but tomatoes, I don't think there's any vegetable or fruit as good as a late July or early August Tennessee tomato.
Love that.
Early August Tennessee tomato.
Yep.
Writing that down.
Oh yeah, I'll bring y'all some. I'll have plenty.
It's going right in the
That's
notes.
a great combination of words. It just
Yeah, it's
feels
Early
good.
August
Yeah.
Tennessee tomato.
Okay, have you made it to the East Nashville Tomato Fest every year?
Oh man, I haven't been in forever,
Yeah.
but yeah, I used to go all the time.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like again much smaller.
Yeah.
But even dude, I can think back at like being in like 5th and 6th grade, and like the streets are pretty packed of people.
Yeah, I should go every year.
Yeah, I should go this year for sure. It's been a while. Yeah, totally. I would love that.
It's like, have you ever been? You know what that is?
No, I haven't been.
I feel like it's becoming less about the tomatoes, but it's a big street festival
Big
and vendors and
art,
concerts,
food.
and everyone gets super drunk.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think
Do they
that's
still
sounds
do they still do the tomato like where they throw the tomatoes at the wall?
probably.
Forget where that is. I think that's over there somewhere in 5 Points. But they usually do this thing like throw rotten tomatoes at a wall.
Huh.
I forget what the
Sounds lit. I hope they still do that.
dude. Yeah, that's always been a very cool event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
No.
Or the sequel, Return of the Killer Tomatoes?
No.
Well, this is what you're doing tonight.
Okay.
You're going to go home.
Okay.
You're going to look up Attack of the Killer Tomatoes because it's just a great piece of film. It's very important.
How
that you
old
know
is this?
80s?
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, is this like some avant-garde like
Oh, no,
50s?
George Clooney's in it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
more
All right.
mainstream.
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
yeah. It's very,
Yeah,
the second one, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, might even be better.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate the recommendation.
Okay. That's my short question. No, favorite spots to grab a bite in Nashville or coffee, or if can't remember if you do coffee or not.
Yeah, I love coffee. I have coffee every day.
That's right.
There you go.
I do remember because
Actually, yeah,
I used to rehearse at his place.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
you did. Back in the day, man.
Throwback.
Yeah, my partner Maggie actually works at Killabrew over in the Gulch.
Cool.
So she's always bringing something home, coffee. But favorite coffee in town is Crema for sure. I think they have the best. They just have the best beans.
Yeah.
I really like 8th and Rose too. Food. I don't know. I think I love sandwiches. I think sandwiches are like my favorite food at this point in my life. And if you are in Nashville or ever in Nashville, Bill's Sandwich Palace.
Bill's?
Yes, I've
Sandwich
heard.
Palace.
Bill's Sandwich Palace. If you have not been
haven't been
to
there
Bill's, they're only open from Thursday to Sunday.
I love that.
And it's kind of weird. It's like lunch hours, like 11 to 2, 11 to 3. The best sandwich I've ever had. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. I love a sandwich, man.
Honorable mention to Fat Belly Pretzel company, or Fat Belly Deli.
Yeah.
I think is what
I've
most
been
people
to
call
neither
it.
of these places. I've actually never been to Mitchell's.
Yeah, Mitchell's is good. I've been to Tower Market Deli is pretty good.
Tower rips. I've been to Tower a bunch.
West
Man, if you
End's,
like Tao, you're gonna love all 3 of these places.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, exactly.
I need a good sandwich spot. I'm not like a sandwich every day kind of guy, because I'm kind of like, I don't try to do like a whole bunch in the way of grains. I like meat and vegetables and fruit.
Yep.
But I do love sandwiches, and I miss really killer sandwiches. Back home, we had Holiday Market. We had San Francisco Deli. God bless San Francisco Deli. I miss you every day of my life.
That sounds really good. I love California food. It's just like kind of a step above in terms of like freshness.
Yeah, especially with the seafood, man. Come on.
Oh, dude, yeah, I don't recommend seafood to anybody. I mean, we're 3 states landlocked. Like, it's not. Sorry, you got to go somewhere else. For
exactly.
that.
That's one of the reasons why I ask so many people if they tried the lobster at Disney's, which doesn't exist. Y'all try the lobster?
Yeah.
It's on the secret menu.
You're gonna go down the history books for that.
I am.
Like
Yeah.
not this podcast, but the lobster.
The lobster history books.
There are places you can go grab some decent seafood at, but it's like it's not going to be like substantially good.
Do you like pizza?
Yeah, I love pizza.
It's like a similar. I mean, there's good pizza spots here, but like
Yeah, see,
it's just not the same.
yeah.
with the water and
I mean, yeah, that's it's funny.
I'm a
Me
New
and Chris
Yorker,
were
so,
talking about that today, like right before we left. Because there's like the whole like the bagel thing, like the water and the bagels. Like, it's just, I don't know. I can't. I don't have the science to back it up.
I've had
but,
some incredible. I feel like I eat bagels and pizza way too much.
Yeah.
I've had both really good bagels here and pizza.
Have you been to Smith and Lynn's?
No,
We had the pizza there.
have I?
It's a brewery.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I don't know if I've been
Smith
there.
and Lynn's?
Yeah, it's over there on Main Street in East Nashville. Pretty close to 5 Points.
Yeah,
They got a sourdough, like they do the sourdough. It's New York style. It's like very thin, very tight cheese. You know,
Yep.
Sourdough pizza
it's
is
good, man.
just so much better. It's just so much better.
dude. It's like charred. You know, you got that like black
This is perfect.
spots on the bottom. Yeah, man.
It's making me hungry.
Pizza and sandwiches. That's the top 2.
Where would you like people to find you?
Instagram is the most front facing. Branndon Center, BRANNDON.
You got 2 ends.
Got 2 ends. Thank you, Mom.
Technically 3.
Yeah. You know what the
yes.
thought process was? What was behind the second N? Actually, that's my.
I'm named after a UT football player.
Really?
Yeah, Brandon
That's cool.
Stewart is the only quarterback to ever start over Peyton Manning at the University of
go.
Tennessee.
It's an honorable.
That's my fun fact.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm a huge UT fan.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can't tell.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Back to back SEC
Let's go.
champion.
Let's go.
This was over
You're rocking the
25 years
Tennessee
ago.
hat.
This is my everyday hat. If you see any picture of me, it's
true.
generally
Yeah.
got this hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram, I honestly the last like 5-6 years have been a shedding of my social media, but
That's good.
I'm on there trying to think if I'm on Reddit, but I'm not going to give y'all my Reddit handle.
Yeah.
That's an anonymous venture. Yeah, Instagram.
I was gonna make a
And
joke.
then-
I'm not gonna make. Actually, I was gonna make a joke, and then I leveled the joke down 2 levels, and then I was like, "That's
All in
still
your
too
head.
much. We're not doing any of that." I'm just walking away.
process.
I could feel
Yeah, it's
where
great.
it was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sensed it.
Well, then obviously all the Meinl YouTube channel and videos coming out. And
The nameless ghoul behind the Meinl
man behind the
videos.
camera,
Yeah, I'm every day on the Meinl channel. There's something new. If you're not subscribed to the Meinl YouTube channel, let me tell you
what are
to
you
go
doing?
do that. Yeah,
Then
go
you-
do it. If you like free content, a lot of people don't like free content. It's kind of a interesting phenomenon. How many people on there in the comments don't like free content and
Yeah.
have something to say about
Yeah,
it?
I'm sure.
Can't be
Yeah.
perfect.
You can't. No. Nobody and nothing is.
Thanks for having me on, y'all.
Yeah, man.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's great
Thank
learning
you for
your
being
journey and
Love you, dude.
yeah, keep
Very
crushing
much.
it. Yeah, man.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Cause it's with death that I've been flying.